welcome to Secretly Sporty. I'm your host, Sebastian Langdale, and I'm joined by my co-creator, Austin Reckless. Hey, Austin.
Hey, Sebastian. How's it going?
It is good. It's getting hotter in Texas, but that just means the runs get earlier. I've been enjoying actually kind of like shifting to an earlier running community in my neighborhood where you just see different people.
So where are you at with your long run?
I am just kind of like going steady. Each run is somewhere between like 3 and 7 miles these days.
You know, our guest would say that was a sprint.
Yeah, today's guest, Joe Goodkin, has released 15 albums of original music under his own name and the name Paper Arrows. Also, an ultramarathoner.
Yeah, 10 miles is like his default standard run. But he'll run like 100 miles, 50-mile races. He claims that those distances are actually easier than a marathon. I'm going to let you test that out.
I'll get back to you.
If you do it, you might have your new answer to a euphoric feeling while running.
Or a new answer to a very difficult period in my life. But these are epic distances, and Joe has composed 2 modern folk opera retellings of Homer's Odyssey and the Iliad.
Joe told a really cool story about how he was in college and kind of on a lark, he took an ancient Greek class.
Yeah.
And it just blew his mind and he became like a classics major and sort of got this idea to like redo the Odyssey kind of as it was originally told in this sort of oral tradition, and has made this career of touring around his retelling of the Odyssey through song.
Indeed. Yeah, it seems like one of these things that maybe started as a bit of a side pursuit and then became a main avenue, a boulevard. And yeah, in this episode, we integrate some of his music.
Yeah, and the Odyssey, big movie out right now with Matt Damon, directed by Christopher Nolan.
I was reading something about Chris Nolan the other day, maybe reading an interview. He does not do a modern life. He does not have a smartphone. He does not do email. And when he travels, that's the only time he carries a phone. He carries a flip phone. He was like, I don't feel like I'm cutting myself off. I feel like I'm just living normal life and everyone else has abandoned normal life.
I don't know if I could go without the maps function, honestly. I have like the worst sense of direction. My Odyssey would be me getting lost. But I was going to ask you though, as a medievalist, do you and the classicists, are you like aligned or are you rivals?
You probably know this actually, that it's expected in every university that there will be rival softball teams, the classicists on one hand, the medievalists on the other hand, and you can guess who wins usually.
I mean, classicists, I'm going to say, because, the marathon, they got some stuff going for them on the athletics department.
If I hadn't just made that whole thing up, I might be offended that you chose the classicists. Should we get into it?
Let's get into it.
Here is Joe Goodkin. Joe, welcome. It's so nice to have you here.
Yeah.
We'd like to start by asking about your most recent workout. So what did you do? How did it go?
It was a run, which is pretty much 90% of what I do. And it was a 10-mile run, and it was pretty good. I'm sort of at a point where I don't have any real races planned right now. So it's just about getting out and getting miles and trying to enjoy running.
Awesome. So what does a regular week of running look like for you?
I aim for basically between 40 and 45 miles a week right now. And every third or fourth week, I'll cut back and do something like 25 or 30 just to give, take an extra day off. And I spread that 40 to 45 usually over 5 days. So I'm usually doing like 3 10-mile runs and then maybe an 8-mile run and a 6-mile run or something like that. But I've gotten really into this year trying to make 10 miles feel like a casual run, which is hard because 10 miles is a real distance and it takes some work even if you're fit.
Yeah.
But it's been really cool. It's an awesome distance to run. It gets me out for a little bit longer time, and I love to be on my feet for as much time as possible because I feel like that's where my brain kind of disconnects from everything else, and I not only get the physical benefit of it, but I also get the mental benefit the longer I can stay out there.
Are you a lifelong runner, or did running come into your life at a certain moment?
I would say it's been a gradual build. I've been a runner back to high school and college, but much shorter distances, 5Ks. I think the first time I ever ran over 3 miles, I was 29 and I'm almost 49. So it's been like the last 20 years of getting into half marathons and then getting into marathons and then getting into triathlons and longer distance triathlons. And then finally only the last 3 years really getting into like ultra distances, stuff past a marathon. I think there was sort of conventional wisdom around running that it's a real young person's thing and you can't continue to do it. But at least for me, that has not been the case. It's sort of been a fairly deliberate, slow progression of feeling like I'm getting better at it and I can take on longer distances.
Sweet. What mileage are we talking about when we're talking about ultra marathons?
So I've done one 50-mile and then last fall I did a 100-mile run.
Tell me about the experience of the 100-miler. What was that like?
It was pretty wild. I did it in Southern Illinois. It's called the Tunnel Hill 100. It's a pretty famous one in that it's flat and it's on a groomed trail. Some of these ultras are in the Mountain West. You're talking about, 15,000 feet of elevation gain over 100 miles or something. You're adding vertical miles to the horizontal miles that you're doing. This one's a real gentle. I think there was only 1,500 or 2,000 feet at most over 100 miles. You start at 7 a.m. You have I think 30 hours to complete it. So there are people who will run and take a nap and then get up and finish the next morning. It can be a multi-day type of event. I did it in 22 and a half hours without stopping. I finished at like 5:30 a.m. the day after I started, and it was incredible.
Yeah.
My body cooperated, my training paid off. And honestly, it's 6 months ago, and I don't think I've completely processed the experience yet, like integrated it into myself. It's just pretty overwhelming.
I mean, yeah, running a race that is basically 4 times the distance of a normal marathon, realizing that you can finish that. Amazing. I think the next time I run a marathon, I'm going to be thinking of you and like, think about that 100 miles, you know, then the 26 won't feel so bad, you know.
Have you done ultras? Do you have an inclination for ultras?
I've run quite a few half marathons. I've run one marathon. I'd like to do more marathons where I finish it just feeling like comfortable rather than like I just got through that, you know?
The half is the best distance. I mean, that's to this day, I think the most fun because you feel an accomplishment, but then you can go to brunch and
Exactly.
It's great.
You're operational. Yeah.
I'll say this, that like, I really don't like the marathon distance very much. It's never agreed with me. And that seems weird. I've done 10 of them. I liked ultra a lot more. Yes, you should probably do a couple marathons, I think, before you try to run 31 miles or 50. But the mental part of it for me, like there is still a stress around finishing a marathon that is just not there when it comes to an ultra. It's a different sort of stress, you know? It's like you're really not thinking about time ever in an ultra marathon until you're so close to the finish line that you can sort of understand like about the time you're going to finish. And you might go in with some loose goal, like under 24 hours for 100 or whatever. But I always go into a marathon like with a time goal. Like, of course, like you can get your arms around what it's going to take you to run 26 miles if you've trained right.
Yeah.
You know, if you spend like 3 minutes in an aid station in a marathon, you think that you've just lost your race. If you spend 3 minutes in an aid station in an ultra, it's fine. It doesn't, you can talk to your wife for a minute and like use the restroom. And like that to me, at least like my psychology and my physiology, I think agreed with me a little bit more.
That does sound inviting.
Yeah.
Murakami has that thing, where he's writing about marathons and ultra marathons. He's like, on my gravestone, it will say, at least he never walked. Like that's his main thing is like not walking. It doesn't matter how slow I run. I'm just not going to walk. Do you have that?
No, I don't. I love that. But is that in what I talk about when I talk about running? Is that
it is?
Which is
from what I
probably
remember.
the best book about running and art that there is, right? Maybe that's the other reason I like ultras is unless you're a spectacular, I don't know, elite athlete in it, you're going to walk at some point. Like it's a strategy. It's going to happen. It's good for you. I'd like to not walk in a marathon. Sure, that's great. But I'm not the kind of person for whom that's that important.
Right.
I don't know. Are you?
I think it varies. Like I do end up walking sometimes, but I worry that when I start walking that I lose momentum and that it'll be harder to get the engine running again. But
there's a little bit of that, yeah.
But for you, I mean, you're not going to beat yourself up over it if you're doing an ultra marathon and you got to walk for part of it.
No, I mean, like I would say probably the last 15 miles of the 100-mile race, I was like a 3-to-1 run to walk and maybe even then a 2-to-1, it was actually very purposeful. Everybody's walking at times, you see
Right.
people walking all the time. So yeah, it's not as big a deal.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So you're a musician. Are you listening to music while you're running usually?
People find this weird. I never listen to music when I run,
Mm,
with just some real small exceptions. Like if I have to run on a treadmill, I'll allow myself to listen to some music sometimes. Or if it's really, really cold, sometimes I'll bundle up and put my hat and my earmuffs on and put some earbuds in there and just give myself something to distract myself from the cold. But
mm,
I found that because I listen to music kind of everywhere else in my life, that I really need the run to just be the ambient sound of the world. It's kind of a cleansing thing for me, and I really don't want to send any stimulus into my brain the way the most important stimulus normally gets in through my ears. So I
yeah.
know that's a little weird because people are like, how do you run 30 miles with no music or whatever it is, or even 10? And it's just something I discovered over time that I like it better when I'm just listening to the world and birds
Mm.
and, city sounds or silence. That's also helpful.
It is interesting that the default is to listen to music, I think, for runners.
Right.
I wonder if sometimes there's a fear of being alone with your thoughts, you know?
Yeah.
Like, where's my brain gonna go? I gotta
Yeah.
focus it on a pop song instead.
Right. Yeah. I want to be distracted, by Chapel Roan real quick.
Yeah.
I've also recently read something about we've gotten away from boredom
Mm,
in this time, and I think like because I'm a fairly good physical runner, I don't have to think about running when I'm running. My legs just kind of do the job, and I'm really able to just kind of be bored without judgment. Like I can just let my
yeah.
brain sort of wander around, and if it attaches to some song that I'm working on, great. If it attaches to something I was reading, great. If it attaches to nothing and I'm just sort of like zoning out and suddenly a mile's gone, like that's also good probably.
Do you carry, your phone or something with you in case a great lyric comes to you or a melody and you can record it?
That's a good question. I generally don't when I run, unless I'm running in a city that I'm not familiar with, which I do actually fairly frequently, but it's not for that purpose. If I'm working on a song lyric, like let's say I'm trying to solve a problem while I'm running or something, a creative problem, I can think about it for the next 3 miles
Mm.
until, it's really sunk in. And I'm not really worried about losing that stuff. I feel like the stuff that's really good winds up sticking. And if it doesn't stick, it's probably not good enough.
And you draw a lot of inspiration and write music about Homer's Odyssey. Does
Yeah.
that come into play, that idea of kind of going on this expansive odyssey yourself as the mileage starts to pick up?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's something I didn't really realize until I was way into both journeys. I knew that
Mm,
the exercise and the running fed my creativity quite a bit. Like it was always a place I could step away to get some perspective on something I was working on, or just be healthy mentally, away from some of the stress of creating or the stress of a music career. But it really didn't occur to me till the last year or so that, Odysseus in the story of the Odyssey, he's a lot of different things, but he's really like a seeker of experience. He wants to be tied to the mast so he can hear the siren song. He wants
mm.
to check out this cave that turns out to be really dangerous for himself. He wants to ask all these characters he meets in the underworld more questions even than he's really there to find out. He's always looking for a way to take in experience. And I think for me, at least, that's a lot of what Ultra is. I'm trying to push my boundaries. I'm trying to see what the world looks like when you're on mile
Mhm.
90 at 3 in the morning, and hopefully more safely than Odysseus did.
Yeah.
But no, I think there's a lot of overlap for people who want to explore the world that way, and who want to find out, what it means to endure and what it means to be able to overcome suffering and reach a home or a goal. Time does not stand still. Time stands still for nobody.
Can you tell us a little bit about the origin of your Homeric songwriting?
I, on a whim, took an ancient Greek class my freshman year in college. I went to Wisconsin, Madison, and I fell in love with the language. And by the second semester of my undergrad, I was a classics major. I'd taken mythology and archaeology and was just in this whole world that was new to me. It felt like it did something to my brain that was as close to what music had done to my brain before. It was just very
Mm,
provocative and made me think about the world and made me feel connected to humanity. And it was something I didn't know a lot about, but suddenly felt connected to. So I wanted to explore it more. And in the course of studying Greek in college, I read a bunch of Homer in the original Greek and took classes about translations of it and studied some of the other things people had done with it creatively. And right after I graduated, I had this idea to try to recreate the experience of hearing like an ancient bard sing a story for an audience. But instead of trying to just recite the text that was going on, I wanted to create more modern music and songs so that the audience could not have to wade through some of the, specific historical or strange archaic features of it, and really more create like a parallel experience than tell the story kind of beat for beat in a narrative way. And it started with no real, I didn't think I'd still be doing it 25 years later. It was just the thing that I thought was kind of cool. And it spawned a second piece based on Homer's Iliad called The Blues of Achilles. It's this thing that's given me a life that I couldn't have predicted because I don't think anybody else has it.
Yeah.
I don't think there's another modern Homeric bard that's doing what I'm doing.
That's awesome. As you're singing these songs, do you find yourself kind of drawing connections between the distant past and the present?
Yeah, I did a lot of work for the Blues of Achilles piece, especially on the Iliad. Part of the reason I put it off, I wrote my Odyssey piece in 2001, and I didn't do this follow-up based on the Iliad until 2018. The Iliad, especially war, was sort of less familiar to me than some of the themes of the Odyssey. I was able to find the themes of identity and family and journeys in the Odyssey fairly accessible as a younger person. But, the Iliad, it's about, war and violence and grief and love and comrades in arms and all these things. I didn't really have a window into that. So it took me a lot of research, which included interviewing veterans and veteran adjacent families and reading war literature. And I finally got it together to write this cycle of 17 songs. And then the day that I released the album of it was the day that Russia invaded Ukraine, basically, like that week. Wow. It occurred to me, these stories are relevant because it's always war somewhere. The first line of my first song of that piece is, I sing of endless blood-soaked earth. And for the last 4 years now, it could have been about any number of places in the world, as well as, ancient Greece 3,000 years ago or wherever. This stuff it's stayed relevant for a reason. There's a lot of human wisdom and experience and observation baked into it, and you can see so many different things in it and have been able to.
Absolutely. How much of the year are you on the road?
Between those two shows, I do somewhere between 30 and 50 shows a year, multiplied by 2 days, kind of. So it's anywhere from 50 to, 50 or 60 days to 90 or 100, something like that.
Are you running in these cities?
Yeah, I think I've run in 46 of the 50 U.S. states or something like that, which is really amazing. I mean, first of all, it's the best way to see any city, I think, on foot. And, another reason for me wanting to kind of get to this 10-mile comfortable workout distance is you can see a lot of a city if you can do 10 miles.
Oh, yeah.
2.5 years ago, I did a tour in Europe where I played in Edinburgh and Dublin and a bunch of places around England. And I was able to do like a 10-mile run in Edinburgh and one in Dublin and, one in London. And it was just like, what an amazing way to see those cities. But I think Edinburgh might be my favorite place I've ever run.
I've run there too, and I agree. It's a really cool place to run. And
did you run up on that big hill by the Royal Mile? What's that called?
Arthur's Seat.
Yeah.
I did. Yeah. I was training for, I think, a half marathon at the time, and I did. I ran up Arthur's Seat.
So cool.
I remember at one point when I was on the ascent, it was like running against such strong wind that I could barely move forward. It was like Arthur's Seat was like, no, don't.
Yeah, don't do that.
Don't stay, don't go. Bring alcohol.
I was going to ask you, actually, do you know those books by Madeline Miller?
Yeah, those helped my workout a lot. So she has 2 books, Song of Achilles and Circe, which are sort of alternate or, reception tellings of the Iliad and the Odyssey. And I would say, if you look at the last 15 years and look at how many more retellings of these stories there have been, largely in literature, but also in stuff like Hadestown and Epic the Musical and all these really successful things that are connected to those stories, I think that her work has made what I do just more accepted. When I started doing it, there was not a lot of people doing the stuff that I was doing. And now, especially these college kids, they come to school with so much more knowledge through all these great like other novels and versions of it. Especially Song of Achilles is really good and really important. Like that's kind of a cultural touchstone, I think. But
Yeah.
like Circe is on top of that, like a really awesome book. Like I don't know if you've read it.
I've read both. I love those books. I read Circe first, and so I think that one maybe is a little closer to the heart, but
Yeah.
I loved both of them.
They're both great. I thought Circe was especially insightful and really a beautiful piece of work.
Who are your kind of heroes when it comes to music?
The album that sort of changed my life as a young musician was Appetite for Destruction, Guns N' Roses.
Yeah.
I don't think I've been the same since that came out. It was like one of the first albums I tried to learn to play on the guitar, kind of note for note. And then through that, it's this network of influence, especially back then. You hear Slash talking about Jimmy Page, and you're like, well, I better check Led Zeppelin out. And, you know, then you hear Jimmy Page talking about Freddie King, and you're like, well, I better check Freddie King out, you know? So I found myself as a guitar player in that classic rock, kind of blues-based stuff, but also trying to branch out to other genres as well. And then as a songwriter, Dylan and kind of that folk singer, you know, singer-songwriter thing. As a songwriter, he sort of invented the modern version of your job in some sense, you know?
Yeah.
But then over the last like 90s stuff like Wilco and in that lane, and then just continuing to try to just stay inspired. But there's a lot of really good music right now and a lot of people writing great music. I know it's like kind of fashionable to say it was better when, but that's not really true. There's really incredible writing and playing and recording going on. I think now more so because of how easy it is to do all that stuff.
Yeah, Wilco, your Chicago brethren out there.
That's it. That's exactly right.
Fun fact, there's a Wilco song that I sing every day and have sang every day for the last 6 or 7 years. It's the song My Darling off of Summer Teeth.
Sure.
And when my son was like maybe 2 years old or so, we were kind of cycling off the beaten path in terms of kind of bedtime songs. And I just started singing him My Darling.
Yeah.
Since then, every night he requests that song.
That's amazing. I was really lucky. 4 years ago now, I actually had a record produced by Ken Coomer, who's the drummer on that album. He's the founding Wilco drummer. I went down to Nashville and made a record with him called Consolations and Desolations. It was a real crazy moment because I was just, you know, Summer Teeth was kind of the record I found Wilco on, and then I worked my way back and listened to Being There, which I think is just like an absolute masterpiece. And what came after that, clearly, like Yankee Hotel Foxtrot kind of changed the music business for its time and is amazing. But like those early records to me were so formative, and I found myself in a studio, just me and Ken playing my songs with him playing drums on it, and I was just like, what is happening? You know, like
a pinch me moment.
Yeah, like tell yourself in 1999 that this was going to be happening. It was really cool because I think those records they really hold up.
Yeah, and Jeff Tweedy's someone who writes so well about creativity, the creative process, and talks a little bit about running as well, and you know what fitness has meant to him.
Yeah, I know it's meant a lot to his mental and his physical health. I think the two books that he wrote, How to Write One Song and
Let's Go So We Can Get Back.
Yeah, they're both just great. I mean, they're so conversational and they're so split between like real insight and then just kind of like funny observational stuff, you know, but I recommend that How to Write One Song book to aspiring songwriters like all the time because it's really incredible, I think.
Yeah. For me, my kind of like comfort reading at night, the way that some people read mysteries or whatever, or romantasy, for me, it's music biographies and music autobiographies. And Let's Go is one of my favorite ones.
Have you read the new Mike Campbell biography by chance?
No.
Tom Petty's guitarist?
Yeah. That'd be cool.
If you like those type of books, it's really good.
Oh, I'll check that out for sure.
He's done a lot more, I think, than a lot of people know creatively. And the way he tells the story of him and the Heartbreakers and really a lot of Petty in it is really beautiful and moving, I think.
There's a cool story about, you know, the Wallflowers in their breakthrough album, Bringing Down the Horse, I think it's called. And they hadn't settled on like a lead guitarist really. And they called Mike Campbell in to play on Sixth Avenue Heartache. And it just like made the song, like just like those little flourishes that he did. You can't imagine it without it. And then they got Adam Duritz from Counting Crows to sing backup, and that was their breakthrough.
Yeah, and it's a great record. That's another one that still sounds really good. Yeah, and T-Bone Burnett produced that too.
Good team.
Yeah. Usually things go well when he's involved in things.
It's been so long since I kissed the dirt that mends all wounds, the dirt that heals all hurt.
Can you think of a time when exercise and maybe running specifically brought you through an especially difficult period?
Yeah, I mean, this is sort of cliche, but I basically got into running when I went through a divorce. And I think it was, I never finished a run and felt bad. I always felt better at the end of a run than I did when I started. And so it just became this really probably chemical, but psychological thing where if things aren't going right, like just go out for a run. And by the time you get back, the problem might be there, but at least you're going to feel better.
Yeah.
You know, that's a real clear connection to me that I used it as an outlet for dealing with that.
Absolutely. And the flip side of that, I'm curious, can you think of a time when running or exercise has brought you to kind of a euphoric state?
Mile 90? No.
Yeah, I bet.
It's funny because the other thing that drew me to running was I wasn't that great at it when I started. Like I was okay. I've always been reasonably athletic. You know, I played like basketball when I was a kid and all the other sports. You know, running's it's a whole different ballgame in endurance sports. And so like I really have had to work to make myself into a good, you know, or better than good runner. So I take like a lot of pride when those feelings come up that I'm able to do it and have those feelings. I'll say like the first Ironman I did 2 Ironmans, and I'm not a very good swimmer. I still am not. So Ironman was like triathlons in general were really hard for me. But I think like that first Ironman, I really didn't know if I could do this. What it told me about myself that I could do it was really important. And, you know, you're a changed person after that. You take that feeling with you and that accomplishment, not in some sort of like narcissistic, egotistical way, but as just proof of what your potential is. You know, there's things that are inside of you that you can do and you don't even know them,
Right.
what they are. So, yeah.
We like to end on a lightning round. So we have some lightning round questions for you.
Cool.
Protein shake or protein bar?
Probably leaning a little bit more protein shake. And even within that, there's premixed versus the ones you make yourself. I'm probably a little more on the premix side. So yeah, I'd say protein shake by a little bit.
Sauna or cold plunge?
This is a point of contention in our house because I'm a cold plunge person and my wife's a sauna person. Any mileage over 20, I usually do like an ice bath here where I pour like pounds and pounds of ice in a tub and sit in it for 10 minutes. I've never found anything more restorative than the ice bath. Like it's really extraordinary to me. Do you do either one of them?
I do sauna. You know, I'm open to a cold plunge. I just haven't really ventured to make it happen.
Yeah.
How about cottage cheese or Greek yogurt?
Well, now that we're plant-based, we don't do either. So can I go to coconut yogurt?
Coconut yogurt it is, yeah.
There it is.
Do you tend to eat before a workout or not eat?
Yeah, I do almost always like to have something in my stomach before I run.
Would you rather meet your artistic hero or your athletic hero?
I think I would rather meet my artistic hero. To get 15 minutes with Bob Dylan, who knows if he would even talk to you, but I think that would probably be the best to me.
Yeah, 15 minutes with Dylan where he is sure to talk to you. Guaranteed to lock into conversation.
Yeah, right. That's it.
You know, I'm thinking Orpheus as I asked you this question, but imagine yourself in hell. What exercise would you be doing in hell?
Oh man, that is an amazing question. I cannot stand side lunges. That would be my hell workout, was just infinite side lunges.
Flip side of that, what would you be doing in heaven? Or maybe what would you be doing where in what kind of landscape?
Yeah, I mean, it would be running. It wouldn't look that different from Chicago, honestly. Like, I love the blend of urban running with how straightforward our streets are. And I love that we have a lake to run on. We also have some of these like rails to trails paths right by our house. Like, if you run far enough, you can get in a forest preserve if you want. I don't need anything more than that.
You've got heaven right there. I like that.
There it is.
This has been such a pleasure. Thank you so much.
I honestly feel like your podcast was just like, it hits all the right spots for me. So I was really honored to be a part of it. And I'm really happy to do that.
Thanks so much. Yeah, let's go for a run next time you're in Austin.
Sounds good. Or when you're in Chicago, let me know.
Absolutely.
It's the last day of the year, and it's getting dark outside.
Join us next time as Sebastian talks to author Paul Yoon about his new novel Etna, what CrossFit adds to his life that running didn't, and all the ways we communicate with our pets. See you then.
Do you see me? How I see you.
Secretly Sporty was created and is produced by Sebastian Langdo and Austin Rackless. Is hosted by me, Sebastian Langdo, edited by Austin Rackless and Andy Rattinger, associate producer, Andy Rattinger. Our theme music is composed by Catherine Joy, cover art by Ben Wiseman, represented by Illustration Division Inc. interstitial music by Joe Goodkin from Wine Dark Life and the Odyssey. This outro song you're listening to right now is How I See You by Joe Goodkin. Special thanks to Liam Billingham.
How I see you. Do you need me?
Please note that we are not medical professionals nor personal trainers. Not all exercises are suitable for everyone. Always consult a doctor before starting any new exercise routine or nutritional program. The views expressed in this show are those of the show's creators or the guests, and not those of any other entity or institution.